I'm muted. Hello, everybody. How's it going? Happy Friday. I see all the comments. Thank you for all of the happy Veterans Day wishes. I appreciate you guys so much, and shout out to all of my fellow veterans that are out there. And thank you guys for your service. I appreciate it. And you guys are incredible humans. So, a raid from DC. Thanks, DC. That's so cool. And welcome, everybody. So I realize I've not roasted myself as an MLM hun in quite some time. And I think it's time. So here we are today. And it's going to be a wild ride. I've only watched probably 2 or 3 minutes of it. It's an 18-minute training that I had in my old team training group. So I have no idea what it's about. In the first 3 minutes, there was emotional manipulation and spiritual manipulation. So just prepare for that. There's a reason that I say what I do when I react to other people in multi-level marketing companies. It's because I used to say the same thing. So I know what's coming because I used to do it, full ownership. And if you were a part of that and I hurt you in any way, I apologize for hurting anybody as I was participating in multi-level marketing. I think that that is very important to take ownership with the fact that I participated in it. And by me participating in it and saying some of the things that I did, I hurt people. And so for that, I apologize. So Kate says, I'm so excited. Yeah, it's a wild ride. I did intentionally wear a black hat because in this video, I'm wearing a black hat and I thought it would be kind of funny. So MLM Hunt is my favorite. I definitely would have joined your downline. Thank you. Don't join an MLM though, guys. Don't do that. I was going to run a disclaimer, but I'm reacting to myself. So I don't really think I need, I'm not going to report myself. Oh, man. Welcome everybody from DC's live. That's super cool. Thank you for doing that, DC. I appreciate you. Okay. So I don't even know what this video is about. I don't even remember. So we're just gonna react to it. In case you are brand new to my channel, my name is Erin Bees. I am a wife, a mom, a military veteran, and I spent 13 and a half years in multi-level marketing, healed my way out. Thanks, babe. And now I'm using all of my social media platforms to educate and raise awareness around the dangers of multi-level marketing and the tactics used by the reps. My husband just brought me some coffee. Very excited. And what else was I going to say? Do I have any updates for you guys? I don't think I have any updates. I love all those squirrels. So cute. Owning your own is so admirable. Thank you. When I first started my anti-MLM channel, or when I made the transition to using my YouTube channel for anti-MLM content, I wanted to react to myself because I think that it's important, just like I said a couple minutes ago, I am owning that I was a part of this, that I participated in it, and that I hurt many people over the years. Even though at the time I didn't feel like I was, just naturally by being a part of multi-level marketing, people are going to get hurt. They're going to be hurt financially through the different types of manipulation. People get hurt. And I'm not downplaying that at all. So I think it's important for me as a creator. This is just my decision. It's how I choose to create content on my channel. Every so often, I think it's important to react to the things that I did, because I did a lot of the same things that you see from other people in MLM. So yeah, thank you guys all thank you for your service comments. I appreciate y'all. Yeah, get out of Top Chat. And if you have not already liked the stream, it would be cool if you would. And if you're not already subscribed, at the end of this, if you think that this video was pretty cool and you enjoyed my style of commentary, then it would be cool if you hit the subscribe button. So, all right, here we go. Also, Kate, thanks for being a member for 13 months. I don't remember if I said that. I read your comment, but thank you for being a member for 13 months. I appreciate you. Okay, I don't need the disclaimer, so I can get rid of that because I'm not going to report my own video. And let's watch Erin as a multi-level marketing leader. Oh my God. And yeah, brace yourselves.
What's up, everybody? Happy Wednesday. This is Erin.
Oh yeah, the sound's terrible. Are we shocked by that? No. The sound is terrible.
B's coming to you live from Las Vegas. You can call me #Beast Mode. I hope
Oh
you guys
God.
have had an amazing day. I just got back from the gym. I'm gonna fix my pants. Hold, please.
Relatable.
We're gonna talk about today. Today, we're gonna talk about there it
Thanks,
is,
Eloise.
how your self-worth should not be wrapped around how productive you are in a day. And first of all,
I do
let me
agree with
just
that.
kind of tell you what inspired this live. I was talking to a really good friend of mine earlier,
Probably a team member.
and this person was saying, I feel kind of guilty because all I want to do is sit and snuggle with my little one. And I said, well, then you should do exactly that. And she said, I feel kind of guilty. And it brought me back to a time
I love y'all.
where I used to feel guilty when I needed to take care of me. Does that resonate with you guys?
It looks like you have a giant spinning hat on. Yeah, because I was cosplaying as a business owner at this time, so. Oh God, terrible.
If it does, drop. Let me know in the comments, okay? And by the way, when you're hopping on, say
Well,
hello. Let me know where you're
that's
watching
true.
from. Do all of those things. Hit the buttons. Yes. So there was a point in time where hey Jessica, I would feel super guilty if I wanted to take a nap, or I would feel super guilty if I wanted to do anything outside of work. And I think a lot of times we get lost. I want to say lost in the sauce because I
Oh
think that that's a
God.
funny phrase. But I do think that we get lost in our goals. We get lost in the
I'm gonna stop you right there, MLM hun Aaron, because it's really difficult to decipher what you're talking about here. Are you talking about the mom guilt, the parent guilt of I have so much to do, but I'm so tired? Oh, good. Excellent. Luna just threw up because she doesn't like it either. Or are you talking about the manipulation tactics that people in MLMs use to keep people working? Because it almost seems like I'm trying to talk about being a parent and that kind of pressure to get everything done and not taking care of yourself. But at the same time, this is an MLM training. So I feel like it's kind of all wrapped into one. And I think that that's yucky. I don't like that. It's just one form of manipulation we're going to see in this video that I used to do to try and get people or try to get people to work, unfortunately. And again, you're going to hear me apologize a lot because I think that's an important part of all of this is I'm showing you guys, hey, this is why I say what I do when I'm reacting to other MLM, uh, you know, distributors because I used to do it too. It's the epitome of the call is coming from inside the house. And because I did it for so long, I can see it coming from a mile away. And when I got out, it took me some time to understand that I was participating in this. I was using emotional manipulation, at times spiritual manipulation, the same way that we see other people in MLMs to do that, see how MLM people do that. And that was really hard. The guilt and the shame around that was something that I really had to process, and there were a lot of apologies made, and I will continue to apologize for it, and I will continue to use my platforms to speak on it. So, yeah,
grind and the hustle and bustle. And I think
thank
that
you.
that's one of the things that 2020 taught me for sure was to slow down a little bit. Because once I slowed down, once I started to, I don't want to call it trauma, but I kind of want to call it trauma. The
You have no business talking about trauma, and it is not trauma wanting to slow down. That's not trauma. Oh my God. I think this is the point where I stopped it or close to it, where I stopped it on the members only live, where I was like, hey, let's check this out or let's do that. And it was just kind of a random live. Yeah, trauma. You have no business talking about that. And wanting to slow down because of grind culture. That's not trauma. I don't like it. Yeah, exactly, Brandy. I feel like Hun Aaron is about to trauma dump all over us. I probably am. So content warning. Ugh. Ugh. Coconut says, I text my don't judge me for being a burnout mess today and not showering. I'm a full-time student and simply don't have the energy to function sometimes. Used to apologize for being burned out. Yeah, I get that. Also, I didn't. Yeah, I didn't. And thank you guys for the compliments on how much healthier I look today versus then. I just see myself there and I'm like, God, you look so tired. And you could like, yes, I have a ring light. Obviously, I have better lighting here, but my eyes just look, and I don't want to say darker. They look not as lit up. And maybe that's the ring light. Maybe that's the difference, but I see something there. Um, I don't know. Interesting.
Trauma of not doing enough or feeling like you're not doing enough, like you're not making enough progress, that's just you judging yourself and comparing.
No, no, that's absolutely not what that is. That is the culture of multi-level marketing is one more, one more, one more, one more. There's no time to celebrate if you hit a rank or get a customer. It's like, okay, now go get another one. Go do another one. It's this constant competition with your team, the company, the industry. It creates this kind of pressure chamber, if you will, that you can't take a second and just celebrate whatever it is that you've achieved in that moment. You have to be constantly striving for the next thing. Yikes. I look tired and hungry. I probably was.
What you are doing to other people,
See you later,
all that
Mima.
does is hurt you. Ouch, right? That was me too.
Ooh.
Like, I get it. So
Oh.
as soon as I stopped, as soon as I said no thank you, as soon as I set boundaries, as soon as I decided that I needed to be able.
Yeah, and I do want to talk about this because I know that I mentioned cognitive dissonance a lot. This was the point where I don't remember the time frame on this live, but this was the point where I was 1 foot in, 1 foot out. And I think the slowing down in 2020, like I've talked about a lot, was me saying something doesn't feel right on top of I had COVID really bad at the beginning of 2020. And so I had to slow down. And in that, it was like, why am I spending time with these individuals? And I've talked about this a lot. And because I slowed down, because I stepped out of the chaos and the constant grind when I was sick, it led me to ask more questions. And so that's why I talk about a lot of times when somebody is questioning, hey, is this something feels off? It's because that's how I felt at that time. And so I started asking myself questions, but because I was at such a high rank in the company and I had this car bonus and this car, it was like it took me a little bit of time, a lot of time to unravel all of that. And the way that you unravel all of that is to ask questions. So that's why I say that all the time, ask questions. If somebody is trying to recruit you into a multi-level marketing company, it's important that you ask these particular questions, whether it's for the income disclosure statement or using the resources on the federal trade, the FTC website. Those are all very, very important things because if you ask more questions, it makes that MLMer, I don't want to say uncomfortable, but they're not used to having certain questions asked of them. And if they can't ask those questions, very simple questions, then why would you want to sign up with them? You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I definitely at this time was experiencing cognitive dissonance. I didn't know what that was. And when I first came across anti-MLM content, I was really angry. I was really angry. I didn't respond to anything. I didn't, lash out or anything like that. But I remember having a very visceral reaction within my body, and being angry. And so I think that it's important to talk about all this stuff,
Able to pause, that was when I started, hey Amber, that was when I started to grow spiritually. That
Oh
was
my
when I started
God.
to learn to trust my gut. My good friend Sarah used to tell me all the time, listen
I do still talk to my friend Sarah, and I love her dearly, and I hope she sees this.
to your gut, listen to your gut. And I'd be like, what is she talking about? Blah! And it would take me forever to figure it out.
Calm
But
down.
now when I need to make a decision, I can pause without feeling guilty because my self-worth is not wrapped around my productivity. I have learned
No, because it was wrapped around the productivity of your team. Let's just be honest. Rank in these companies is everything. Title in these companies is everything. Everything. And there's no way, in my opinion, to get around that person at the top rank not having their self-worth wrapped around that title because of the competition, because of the pressure chamber that I talked about it creates. There's no way to get around that. That's just my opinion. You guys let me know what you think.
that I have a burst of productivity. And instead of just grinding constantly, I have to have that time to breathe. Maybe that looks like going and playing basketball or going to the gym or taking a nap or watching a Netflix show. It's going to be different every single day, but there's so much guilt and there's so much shame, right? Shame wrapped around constantly being productive. And I'm going to keep it really, really, really real with you
Oh
right
my
now.
God.
I am a
No,
strong
please don't.
believer that if all you feel like you have to offer is your productivity, it's because you are afraid to do the inner work. You're
What? What does that even mean? You make no sense. How does productivity it's almost like I'm saying if you're so addicted to your self-worth being wrapped around productivity, it's because you're afraid of doing the inner work. What at the end of the day, we're talking about somebody in a multi-level marketing company. It is not my place because I'm reacting to me, which is weird. How do you say that, you know? It's not your place to offer spiritual advice or trauma, dealing with trauma. Like what? None of that should come into play with any kind of a business training. This is so weird. Aaron, if you don't get it, you need to do your inner work. Jeez. Wild.
afraid to tell your story. You're afraid to share your journey. You're afraid of being judged. And you're
Yeah, and why is the fear of being judged a thing within multi-level marketing? Well, if we stop and think about it for a second, I'm talking to her. If you stop and think about it for a second, it's because people were becoming at this time, I'm assuming this is 2020 or very early 2021 because I got out in July, I believe. I'd have to look at the email, but I'm pretty sure it was July of 2021. Um, People are becoming aware of what multi-level marketing actually is. And so the reason that people join these companies and they're afraid to go live or to share their story or those types of things is because typically the stories that they're telling are wrapped around health claims, income claims, those types of things using spiritual manipulation, emotional manipulation. I don't believe for 1 second God uh, would guide people to something like multi-level marketing, and we see that often. So, yeah, crazy.
story is the most powerful thing that you have. It is the ultimate connection tool outside of business. Yes, you should be telling your story in business, but on a human to human, connection, you've got to have that story. You've got to share your journey because other
No, because that's not how you make friends. Friends, when you're becoming friends with somebody, I feel like you start with small conversations, a message here, a message there, or whatever. You're saying hi to them when you're out and about, wherever you're going in your day, and you see them consistently. Um, Most people, I don't feel like start to build a friendship with telling their story. Like, hey, let me tell you everything about me, and here's my story. I think that has the potential to make people uncomfortable. People become friends sometimes very slowly and through just a little bit of, conversations, lighthearted conversations here and there. You don't need to tell your story to become friends with other people. That can put people off and make people uncomfortable. Like, why are they telling me everything about their life? Maybe I'm wrong in that, but that's how I feel about it. Also, we have a new member, mparent83. What is up? Welcome to the party. I do have a Discord if you would like to check it out. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it.
People are going to go, oh my gosh, this person is just like me. So if this is you, if you have ever...
That's called manipulation. If you're telling your story and you're in a multi-level marketing company and you're using, trauma, you're using stories of surviving any kind of I'm just going to say a hard time. I'm going to throw a blanket statement out there for that. And you're sharing this stuff, trying to find things in common with other people in the hopes that you can become friends with them on social media so that you can sell them a product or possibly recruit them. That's called manipulation. If you want to be friends with somebody, just be friends with somebody without having some sort of a hidden agenda, because that's manipulative. Also, that pause though. Oh, did I just rewind it?
Okay.
I think I did. Hold on.
Of productivity. And instead of just grinding constantly, I have to have that time to breathe. Maybe
Okay, hold on.
I'm going to keep it really, really, really real with you right now.
Really? One reel isn't enough.
You have just spent hours and hours and hours of work on whatever it is that you're working on. Please hear me. Please feel my heart when I tell you that.
Oh God, please feel my heart. Oh, I think the only thing worse than hearing me say that is when Brian Underwood says it, or somebody in his inner circle that's like, please hear my heart. And then they say something that is manipulative, trying to get people to not question what they're participating in. Oh, gross. Oh, man. I have no words.
The pause, and you can see this on my cover photo, the rest fuels the rumble. So you're going to have times where you're wildly productive and you're an amazing human in that space.
As if you're not an amazing human when you're in the rumble. Ugh. I remember saying that the rest fuels the rumble, but that goes against everything that you are taught in multi-level marketing. You're shamed. We hear it all the time. You're shamed if you are watching TV. They're like, get rid of cable, get rid of, the streaming services. And it's like, what? I'm not going to stare at my phone and just work 24/7, randomly messaging people. I'm not going to do that. Oh, man.
You are going to have times where you're sitting on the bed, where you are meditating, where you're watching a Netflix show, where you're doing something other than working, and you're still an incredible human. Your self-worth does not change based on how productive you are. I'm going to say it again for the people at the back. Your self-worth does not change depending on how productive you are in the day. So if you are feeling guilty for snuggling your baby today, if you are feeling guilty because you're like, man,
this is so fascinating, because what I'm saying here goes against this particular part about your self-worth not being wrapped around productivity, and you shouldn't feel guilty for spending time with your kids or doing things that you love. It goes against everything you're taught in multi-level marketing. So if there were ever an example of cognitive dissonance, this would be it. I mean, here I am in my Prove It Champ shirt doing a team training for people. And I'm saying, you guys should be resting. Like, you don't need to feel guilty for resting, which goes against everything you're taught in multi-level marketing. It's wild. So I think this is a perfect example of cognitive dissonance for sure. Oh, my neighbor is texting me.
I just don't have it in me today. I need to take a nap, or maybe I need a rest day at the gym, or I just, I don't feel like doing my hair. I don't feel like putting makeup on, or whatever that looks like to you. I need you to not judge yourself. I need you to understand that it is 100% okay. Here's why.
The shirt
When
was
you
comfy.
rest, you're going to get ideas that move you forward faster, especially if you're a
Oh.
creative like I am. I cannot
But see, that's tying an agenda to rest. If you need to rest, just do that. You don't need to have some sort of an underlying thing like I'm going to take a nap so that I can come up with more ideas on social media and how I can recruit more people. Just rest. It's okay. Oh my god.
stay in the grind 24/7. I'm going to put out product content, whatever it is that you want to call it, that is not as effective. I have learned because I've been studying the human design. And have you guys ever heard of that?
I'm glad this is brought up. This was a time where I was definitely interested in human design. And I thought for a second that I was going to have some sort of a business where I help people with human design. I no longer do that. And it's been several years since I have done that. But I think people have their own kind of spiritual interests, their own interests outside of what people see on social media. And I think that's okay. Um, I think human design is fascinating, but I didn't need to be making money off of that. That felt weird to me. And I think that that was a part of me working out of my MLM thought process. And if human design is something that you are interested in or anything like that, you can find a ton of stuff for free. When I was doing human design, it felt like an MLM coach. And it didn't feel right to me, which is why I don't do it anymore. And it's been several years since I've done that. Will I have conversations about human design? Yes. Will I have conversations about spiritual things? Yes. But it didn't feel right to me to have a business wrapped around that. I hope that makes sense. But yeah. So we're going to talk about human design here, which is fascinating. Check it out for yourself. But if that's something you're interested in, and if not, that's okay too. But you can see that this is me working through that, and it was something that I was interested in. I, at one point, was interested in ClickFunnels. And so I went through some training. Not that that has anything to do with spiritual, but like I remember kind of the steps, if you will.
If you have, drop it in let me know in the comments, right? So I've been studying human design, and one of my things, one of my attributes is that I respond. So here's a perfect example of this, okay? I was having the conversation with my friend. I knew that I needed to go live, not that I needed to, that I wanted to go live because I really value our time together, our time that we have here on Wednesdays at 11.
Yeah, and I get that part of it too. And I also want to say that everybody has their own beliefs, and that is absolutely okay here. And yeah, so believe what you want. All good.
A.m. Pacific time. I really value our time together, but I wasn't sure what I wanted to speak on. I had all these ideas. I have
Yeah,
lists. I
Russell
have,
Brunson.
all these ideas that I can share, but it didn't feel like, okay, this is what I'm supposed to be talking about with you guys.
Hold on, I have to parent. Yeah, I just text her.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
She just texted me and she was like, hey, are you home? And I was like, yeah, I'm coming. And then she hasn't texted me back yet.
Okay. I just told her you can help.
What am I doing?
I don't know yet. Just text her back.
I did.
Okay. We'll go out there and text her if you would. Oh, okay. Let's get back to the video.
So as we were having the conversation, I was like, oh my gosh,
Yeah. Interesting slip up
I
for
used
sure.
to wrap my self-worth around my productivity. So when my head would hit the pillow at the end of the night, if I wasn't productive by anybody else's standards, and by the way,
See, but I think what I'm referring to there is if I sold anything or recruited anybody in that day. That is the definition, I feel like, of productivity within multi-level marketing. Because you could do all kinds of crazy busy work, making social media content, going live. That doesn't necessarily mean that you made any money. And the emphasis on making money in multi-level marketing is everything. So yeah, that's fine. You can go over there.
She hasn't responded to me.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry, guys. Um, So I think that me saying productivity in this old video is basically, did you sell anything or did you recruit somebody? Because that is what is valued within multi-level marketing. That is typically, especially the recruiting, heavy on recruiting, is how you make the most money. So if you're not doing those things, then you weren't productive. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's interesting.
Productive could mean you took care of your heart. Productive could mean that you faced some trauma that you didn't know you had, or you saw some patterns, or you did some shadow work, or you read a book, or you took a nap. Productivity is not all business.
Hey, Jake.
Productivity is about you. How did you move forward today? Did your heart move forward? Did your soul move forward? Did your spirit? Did you
But see, this is a business training. So if we are removing the emotional and spiritual manipulation aspect of this, and we're talking about business, then it should be business analytical data. Did your social media grow? How many people did you have a conversation with about whatever the product is? Out of those conversations, did anybody make a purchase? Okay, then you can figure out your conversion ratio. You know what I'm saying? Like, this should be focused on business analytical data to determine if you moved forward or not within your business. And I mean, we know it's not a business, but I'm just trying to separate the two, because this is a very aggressive screenshot or pause story. This is very spiritually and emotional manipulative in a sense. I feel like
do you see some progress? That's how I see productivity. So as we were having this conversation, knowing how I am with the human design, I respond to things. So as we're having the conversation, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. I need to tell my people about this, because I'm sure if I have felt this way in the past, they probably feel that way too. Maybe let me know. Let me know in the comments, right? Because I know that I've definitely felt that way in the past. I know that I needed to gain control. I know that
I feel sad for her. I feel sad for me, this version of me. Is that how you? I don't know how I should say that. I feel sad for this version of me because you can see it. You can see that it's like, get away from hustle culture and take care of you. And I look tired, and there's a part of me that looks really sad. And it's like, I can see that cognitive dissonance on me in this time frame. You know, it's so interesting.
I'm gonna have days where I am watching The Crown. I'm watching The Crown right now, right? Not right now, but like that's the series that I'm kind of into right now. I'm gonna have days where I am super productive in the morning, where I wake up like today. I woke up, I immediately did my meditation, I
Thank
had my
you.
coffee, I spent time in my spiritual practice, I went right to the gym, I had a great workout, I did my hydro massage, I came home and I ate, and I'm like, wow, look at all that I've done. I literally was thinking that as I was driving home from the gym. Look at everything that I have done already this morning. I've got my social media stuff. I didn't know what I was going to go live about today, but in that conversation, I was responding. So productivity to me is learning how to work with who you are, rather than trying to maintain somebody else's standards. You are different.
I don't think that that's the case at all. I think productivity is very easy to define. So, yeah, I don't know. That's weird.
You are so different. Nobody on this planet is like you.
That's true.
Nobody. Thanks, Julie. Everybody is completely different. So when you are trying to use somebody else's standards for your life, it's not going to work. You're going to have an energetic crash.
Oh my God. The irony of me encouraging people to be different and to work with who they are and how they operate. I don't know if I'm referring to like circadian rhythms, or I don't know what I'm referring to here, honestly. But the irony of me saying, be your own person, do your own thing, when I was a part of the empire where everybody starts to talk the same. The irony of that is wild to me.
About this all the time because I used to do it. I would go and go and go and go and go. And while my My personality type I have a lot of energy. I can continue to go, but I also know that my content.
The funny part about this is that since I got out of multi-level marketing, I'm not a highly energetic person. I'm actually a very mellow person. So typically how you guys see me on live streams, this is how I am on a daily basis. This is who I am. So I feel like me saying that, I have a lot of energy is me, number one, I'm trying to make myself seem like the color personalities because that was something that was taught over and over and over again. And so, according to them, in that quiz that I took, and maybe some of you guys took it, uh, I'm a blue personality. And so energetic, fun, life of the party, that kind of thing. And I think that was me thinking, oh, that's who I am and trying to lean into it. But I also think, number two, that there's an aspect of wanting to always be energetic when on video or in person at events. Um, Seeming to be excited about the opportunity, about the company, about the products, and wanting that to come across in video, which is, I think, why a lot of people that are in MLM, when you see them doing lives or team trainings, I think that's a common comment. Why are they screaming? Is because they've been taught to try and transfer that energy in the video, and they think that they have to scream to do that. So I think those are two aspects that are going on here. But for the most time, or for the most part, I'm very laid back. I'm very calm. I'm very, very chill most of the time. So this is just me trying to live up to the hype, I guess, of multi-level marketing in a way. It's interesting.
My
You wouldn't have been,
creativity,
Katie.
all of that starts to kind of stifle because I'm just so focused on the grind. So at that point, that's when I need to stop. That's when I need to take a pause. That's when I need to do something that brings me joy. Thank you for all the love hearts. That's when I need to, meditate and read and just be. Because I know now that my
Yes, that's better said. Hannah says, so the yelling is just a byproduct of forcing energy, really. Yeah, absolutely. Very well said.
productivity has nothing to do with my self-worth. I know who I am. I know what I bring to the table, and I'm confident telling you guys that. But it took me facing that in the past, I used to wrap my self-worth around how productive I was in business. We are multifaceted.
And I still was at this time, though. Maybe I was working on not, but I do think that it's impossible. This is just my opinion, to be in a multi-level marketing company and to not think your self-worth is not wrapped into the money that you're making and the rank that you hold. I just think that it's impossible because there's so much emphasis on it. A lot of these companies, when you hit certain ranks on the badges where you attend, their events, it'll show your rank and people are watching for that. And improve it when you hit rank 6, which is their car earning champion rank, your lanyard is a different color. So you automatically stand out. So there's a lot of emphasis on rank and income, on paper. We should say it that way. And so I think it's impossible. It creates this environment of your self-worth is wrapped around the rank that you hold and, the grind culture. So I think, again, this is an example, in my opinion, of me experiencing cognitive dissonance and saying, this doesn't feel right. I don't want to hustle all the time. I'm tired. I look tired here. I was tired all the time. But when you hit that live button, or when you're doing a team training, or you're on a Zoom, you've got to turn it on. And that's not authentic, you know, just be yourself.
We are not a black and white human. We are somebody that has feelings and thoughts and emotions and trauma and limiting beliefs and all of these beautiful layers that make us us.
I really hate the term limiting beliefs. I really, really hate that term. And the reason that I hate that term is because it is used to manipulate people. If somebody does not feel comfortable going live, in a conversation, I could see an upline saying, "Oh, well, maybe this is a limiting belief." Maybe they don't word it exactly like that, but I could see them using that as a way to get people to do what they think that they should do. And it gives me the ick. It really gives me the ick. Yeah, everything about me and multi-level marketing, I feel like energetically is different. I still feel like I'm confident in what I'm doing. I don't know that I felt confident. Let me back up. I don't know that I felt confident at that time. I sounded like I was, but I don't know. I just feel like it was so over the top. And this is probably a very mellow one. I really should go back into like my memories and stuff on social media and see what I can dig up because yeah, there's going to be more of this. I think this is an important part of the conversation. I think that, and this is, like I said at the beginning of this live stream, it's important to me that we talk about it, that I show this, that I show what I did and what I said and how I said it, because that is how we educate. And if I'm going to react to other people that are doing the same things that I used to do, it's important that I also say, listen, I used to do it too. Let's watch this video together. This is what was going on at the time. I think that it, in my opinion, is an important educational aspect of all of this. So everything about this, I feel like, is in a sense kind of the opposite of who I am actually, and when I say that, I mean energetically. I'm trying to act all excited and it's kind of like, just relax. It's all good. I hope that makes sense.
So if you are basing your self-worth on what you are doing in your business, you're selling yourself short, friends. You're selling yourself short. So here's what I need you to do.
Oh my God.
I need you in these moments where you start to question your self-worth and you start to think, well, this is me being super vulnerable, friends. Okay, well, my back office.
They're most of these people are not your friends. This is your downline. And see, that's a very, very important thing to talk about. Because in multi-level marketing, the term family and friends, now are there relationships that you can develop in multi-level marketing that are actual friendships? Yes. And I still talk to plenty of people from various companies, all of the 6 companies. And I'm grateful for those relationships that have been maintained by both parties after multi-level marketing. But that is not a common thing. And so uplines will use family, friends, terms like that. And I think that that is very alluring to people that are looking to multi-level marketing for community, people that maybe they don't have a lot of support in person around them. Maybe they're isolated for whatever reason, or, it's just difficult to make friends. And so when you see a lot of these MLM leaders or people in multi-level marketing that are using community as a reason for these people to pay to be a part of the community, this is a perfect example of that. Friends, I'm just being super vulnerable, friends, but this is a downline. So it's essentially saying, yeah, you guys are my friends and I'm making money off of you, but you're my friends and I care. I'm not saying that I didn't care about these people, but it's a perfect example of how that term is used, whether it's friend or family. And I think that the boundaries or the line is very thin, because these are people that I'm referring to as friends that I was making money off of anytime they ordered anything. And I think that that's just icky. If it's a business, treat it like a business. Use business type terms. Remove the emotional and the spiritual manipulation. And granted, I'm not saying that I'm pro MLM. Y'all know how I feel about MLMs. But looking at this and how spiritual and emotional manipulation is woven into this, like it's a business training, I think that's not appropriate. If it's a business, then do business training. But these things shouldn't occur. But again, we're talking about multi-level marketing. And if they didn't use those things, I don't think that they would attract anybody at all. But again, that's just my personal opinion. Also, we have a new member. Welcome, Tess McNally. So grateful that you became a member. Yes, thank you for becoming a member. Appreciate you. And if you'd like to join the Discord, that would be awesome. You can check the community tab for the link to that. This Aaron isn't my friend guy. That's funny. Did y'all pick up on this training style from JLW? That's a great question. I think that there were attributes of me when I would live stream that I was duplicating from Jessie Lee because we were taught the duplication. But I also think that there was a certain amount of me just being me, maybe a small amount, maybe a very small amount. But when you're in multi-level marketing, and I know you know this, DC, because you were also in multi-level marketing, you're taught to duplicate. You're taught to do what your leader does. You know, if they go live on Wednesdays, you're taught to go live on Wednesdays. If they go and do an in-person event, you're taught to duplicate that in your area. So there's a sense of removing the majority of who that person was, in my opinion, and becoming what your leader is, because you think that you are replicating their success, but their success wouldn't be what it is unless if they didn't have a downline. So I think to answer your question, DC, did y'all pick up on this training style from JLW? I think for me, yes, I think there's certain aspects of it that I absolutely did pick up. I think at this time was when I was really starting to separate myself from the empire. I think I had my own team groups and we were kind of moving in another direction. And now that we're watching this together, it's like, oh, I was teaching my team cognitive dissonance without knowing at the time what that was. So hopefully that answers your question. Lindsay G, thank you for being a member for 1 month. I appreciate you. She says, this is brave of you to share, and thank you for being open to letting us critique you and to critiquing yourself. Of course. I think it's an important part of all of this. And it's not that I haven't intentionally not done covered my own trainings. It's just, I get so much information and I am so grateful that sometimes this kind of falls by the wayside, but I think that it's an important part of the advocacy work that I want to do on my platform.
Office in my business only shows X, Y, and Z. That was me too, right? That was me too. Here's what I need you to do. I need you to say, who have I impacted today? How do I feel about myself? What have I done in my spiritual journey? How's my heart? What are some moves that I have made today that I'm like, wow, I can actually see the progress? Think about it this way. When you are on a health and wellness journey and you start to maybe you notice that if you're a runner, maybe you notice that you can run a little bit longer and all of a sudden you're like, wow, where did that come from? Or you start to see the number.
Well, from training and fueling your body properly if you're a runner. That comes from training and time.
On the scale change all of a sudden, you're like, wow, I'm seeing progress. And then you're a little bit more motivated to go to the gym the next day because you're starting to see progress. How can you show up in your life?
How ironic is it that I just posted on Instagram and Facebook today, progress over perfection? Isn't that odd? I find that really interesting.
Today and recognize progress, because progress in all areas of your life, remember I just said, we are not black and white human beings. We are multifaceted. So how can you, looking at those different facets that make you, how can you say, wow, I made progress today in this area? Maybe it wasn't in business. Maybe you did what you needed to do today, but today was, a mental health day. Or today was, I needed to just be outside. I needed to be with my family. I needed to just let my brain rest and watch some Netflix. I needed to, do other things. I needed to be artistic. I needed to create things. How can you measure progress in your life? That is the most motivating thing that you will ever find.
I mean, I think progress is important no matter what you're doing, but I think progress is going to look different for everybody. And I think that that's okay. And I think that if this training were not in a multi-level marketing team group trying to get people to do whatever it is that I was wanting them to do at this time, which sounds to me like I was trying to talk them out of being a part of grind culture and multi-level marketing. It's interesting. I don't know. I look at this person and I remember, what this all felt like, and I remember how I just at this point was like, "This doesn't feel right," but I don't think I had the words for that at the time. I cared about people, even though I was hurting them by participating in multi-level marketing, so that's odd, to say those 2 things together, and, yeah, it's just interesting to see. It's like cognitive dissonance, you know? Cognitive dissonance. Um, I'm back, my phone died. How did you feel after how did you feel after you got out, Erin? I felt a huge weight lifted off of my shoulders because I had been processing since, 2020, since the start of the pandemic, asking questions and feeling uncomfortable, but not necessarily understanding why and seeing these red flags, whether it was Prove It trying to sell hand sanitizer or an immune boosting product and then taking that off the market and sweeping it, a bunch of stuff under the rug. And there were a lot of questions over that time that I asked um, quietly because you don't dare question. You do not dare question your upline or the company because you'll be exiled. I actually removed myself from a lot of the groups. I was like, yeah, no, thank you. Um, And so when I got out, I think that because I had taken the time to ask those questions, when I finally got the confirmation that my accounts plural, my distributor account, and then the account I had under my husband's name were canceled, it was a relief. And I remember thinking, well, what do I do now with all of this time? And I answered and said, whatever I want. And it was liberating. So, but then I feel like I took some time and thought about it, and because I was such a high-ranking member, I had a lot of people that were asking questions, where are you? Like, what's going on? You're not in any of the groups anymore. And I kind of got tired of asking those questions. So when I first started anti-MLM content, it was just for me to tell my story and to be able to send a link to those people. And I just discovered that I had more to say, So, Lindsay, thank you so much for the gifted membership, and Brian, thank you so much. I can't see who got it, so if you did, let me know in the comments.
Thank you for your patronage.
I appreciate you, and also appreciate you guys so much, and I'm really glad that we're having this conversation. I know that this is um I don't wanna say it's, like, heavy. I don't feel like it's heavy, but I'm just glad that we're having this conversation because I think it's important.
Not somebody else's words, not somebody else's progress, because one of the things that I have learned is that you will listen to me when I say this, and you may want to write this down.
Oh god.
You will
Stop. Stop it with the write this down. Are you for real? That was something that we learned. I wanna say that was from, like, Eric Worre events or something, you know, where somebody was up on stage and they would say something like, "You may wanna write this down." And then I would look at my notes towards the end, of, me getting out of multi-level marketing, and I'd be like, "Why did I write that down?" You know how we watch Zooms or you watch your favorite creators that are reacting to Zooms, and it's like, you will see people writing, and you're like, "What exactly are you writing down? Emotional manipulation, spiritual manipulation, limiting beliefs? Like, what are we writing down here?" So I can't believe I just said that. Yeah, get your notebooks out. Oh my god, wild. Who was the first anti-MLM person that you spoke to on YouTube? Probably JJ. I think probably JJ was the first person I actually like one-on-one had a conversation. And originally I just wanted to help support her and give her information, which I think is funny. And she'll tell you this. She's living her life today probably, but which I love. But she'll tell you that. I wanted to give her information because at that time there weren't a lot of prove it videos out. There wasn't a lot on the company. There wasn't a lot on top leaders. I think Savannah, I think Chelsea had some videos out on her, but that was about it. On Jessie Lee, by the way. But I don't think that there was a ton of information. And when I started to tell my story, that was where questions came up. And I was like, man, I could do a video on that. That's why you'll see, I did a video on the car bonus and various things because people were asking me those questions. And I felt like I had the experience to be able to answer those questions, the experience with the company within the empire, that kind of thing. So I would say the first person I spoke to was in a one-on-one scenario was JJ. Shout out to my bestie.
Continue to look outwards until you realize that everything that you already need is within you. You will continue to look outwards until you realize everything that you need is already within you. For example,
No. See, here's the thing. When you're in multi-level marketing, you're taught to look outward. You're taught to look for the recognition, whether it's a different colored lanyard or a rank on a badge, or you log into the back office and it shows, current rank, achieved rank, those types of things. You're taught to look outward for that validation that shows that you're productive. So yeah, write that down. Can I borrow someone's pen to write this down? I lost mine. Thank you guys for being members. I really do appreciate y'all.
when I need to make a decision, I just ask my gut and pause. Whereas before, I would just make a decision and run with it, And that doesn't work for me. Maybe it works for you. Again, we're all very, very different, right? So please,
Thanks, Kristen.
I am begging you guys. I am begging you to please stop basing your self-worth and the abilities that you have to inspire those around you based on your productivity. I'm going to say this, not everybody is productive all the time. And if they say they are, they're a liar.
Oh my God.
They're a liar. They have times where they're sleeping and resting. They're just not telling you.
Well, and that's because the facade that people are taught in multi-level marketing to maintain. That's why you see the lifestyle claims. That's why you see some of that stuff is because they're acting as if, or what's the other saying? I can't think of what the other saying is, but they're trying to make it seem like this is what their life looks like because they want to recruit people. I'm not saying everybody does that, but there's a lot of people in multi-level marketing that do portray themselves a certain way on social media, but behind the scenes, not really how their life is.
I'm going to tell you, you have to rest. You have to have times where you are rebuilding. You have to have times where you are focusing on different areas of your life.
Okay, this is where we're getting into seasons. The only reason that some of these people, I feel like in multi-level marketing, talk about seasons is because they don't want people to question when winter has arrived and they're not having a lot of conversations. They're not getting, any sales or a lot of sales, and they're not recruiting, those types of things. I think that talking about seasons and crops and harvesting and all of that stuff is because people are going to start questioning when the chaos gets a little quieter, and they don't want that. So if you're in a multi-level marketing company and you happen to be watching this, ask more questions. Pause for a second, ask yourself some more questions instead of taking action or doing whatever it is that your upline is asking. And just remember, your upline is telling you to do certain things because they want to get paid. They make money off of your efforts when you sell products, when you recruit people, especially. So just think about that. You gotta look at the intention of what you're being told.
It's not about balance per se. It's about managing
Absolutely.
priorities. Some days your kids are going to need you more than ever. Other days they're going to be super independent. Some days your business is really, really going to need you. Maybe you're rolling out a new program or a course, or there's a new product in your company that's rolling out. And
A course, huh? What in the master reselling rights is happening? That's a scam, by the way.
your company needs you, right? Your business needs you. And you're kind of shifting what is really important. Some days your body and your mind and your soul and your spirit is going to tell you it's time to rest. You need a minute. You need a pause. And I need you guys to understand that there's nothing wrong with that. In that pause, if you're willing to do it, you're going to find ideas and inspiration and campaigns and all kinds of crazy cool.
Campaigns is a term that Eric Worre uses to roll out specific focuses. For example, when you saw his recruiting boot camp or something, those boot camp style things, that's a campaign. Yes, I know that that's a very marketing thing, but just listening to some of the vocabulary that I'm using in this video is I can remember where it came from. It's weird.
Cool ideas that are going to move you forward.
Yes,
But if you are
DC.
so focused on the grind, if you are so focused on productivity, you are going to be surrounded by chaos all the time. And in chaos, you're not going to learn to trust yourself. You're not going to listen to the signs that you are being given every single day. I would have.
Well, but with chaos, or I should say, chaos is, in my opinion, the number one tool from MLM leaders and MLM companies. Because if you're surrounded by chaos, I always think of the character Pigpen from Peanuts and how he had that kind of chaotic dirt thing over his head. That's multi-level marketing. You are constantly inundated with just things that you have to do, Zooms that you have to get on, creating content, and you're not working the business in the pockets of your day. You're doing your family life in the pockets of your day. The MLM takes over. And so if you have this chaotic kind of cloud around you, you can't see clear enough to ask questions or to say, this doesn't necessarily feel right. And then you throw in all the manipulation from the uplines that were taught by their uplines, that were taught by the C-suite of the companies at the last event, those types of things. And so it creates this pattern of constant grind, AKA grind culture, and it prevents people from asking questions. So if you pause, which is interesting hearing me talk about this, if you pause, it gives space for questions to be asked. If you ask questions, it's going to help you to identify, well, this is why this doesn't feel right to me, or I don't want to do this because of X, Y, and Z, and it's just interesting to hear all of this. So that's why I talk all the time about asking questions, is because chaos is the number one tool, I feel like, that a lot of these people in multi-level marketing use. That's why you'll see some of them flex about, I had so many meetings. Yeah, they were probably Zooms with other people in the company. And, it's chaotic. It's on purpose, I feel like, because it prevents people from asking questions. And if somebody's not attending, let me add this too. If somebody's not attending all of the Zooms, then I think that upline typically is going to say, well, and they might not use this exact vocabulary, but, well, that person, I think they're on their way out because they're not attending the Zooms and they're probably asking more questions. So it's easier for the upline to typically discard those people instead of having that person ask questions and then asking those questions of different people. And at the end of the day, that would impact the upline's income. So I think chaos is, do I want to call it a weapon? I don't know. That seems very aggressive, but I think it's a tool that a lot of the people in multi-level marketing, especially the top people, will use. Whether they know it or not, it's what they're using. Get on the Zoom, get on the power hour, get on the Saturday boot camp, get on this, get on that, attend the next event. You should be doing however many posts a day. You should, be going live. You should do all of this stuff. And it's busy work that creates a chaos that fills people's time so that they don't ask questions.
Missed this conversation. I would have missed the opportunity to have this conversation with you guys. I would have missed this idea for a live if I was so busy that I was like, I'll get to those messages later. But no, I paused. I had the conversation with one of my really good friends and said, listen,
I agree with this. I'm not sure what you're referring to, DC, but I do agree with this. I think, to quote Maya Angelou, when you know better, you do better. And for me and my platform, it's very, very important that I share my experiences, especially with Prove It, because I was on the inside. And so for me, my platform, that's always going to be kind of where I'm coming from. But I think that you don't have to have been in a multi-level marketing company in order to be an advocate for the movement and to prevent people from joining MLMs. I think every voice is important. But for me, that is going to be that is why I say and do what I do on my platforms.
why do you feel guilty for this? If that's what feels right, then do it. And the reason that she probably felt guilty is because I used to feel guilty. I could see some of the same things like, oh, I used to feel guilty if I put my phone down.
Or that person felt guilty because of the pressure I was putting on them, whether it was intentional or not. Being a part of a multi-level marketing company, using chaos, using spiritual and emotional manipulation is going to make people feel guilty when they set their phone down or decide to rest. It's that whole competition, chaos, busy work kind of thing that's used at the end of the day to manipulate people.
Miss messages. Then I would look at the messages and I'd be like, oh my gosh, I'm so behind. I'm so behind. I'm so behind. How can you produce anything when you're feeling that way? So I want to encourage you guys to trust your gut. I want to encourage you guys to listen to your heart. I want to encourage you guys to not allow yourself to wrap your self-worth in your productivity. Productivity is a fluid thing, and it's not just about business. It is about spiritual growth. It is about emotional growth. It is about mental health. Your physical, if you are somebody that is working out and you're wanting to make changes, you're wanting to get stronger, you're wanting to lose weight, whatever that looks like to you, just understand that you are not a black and white human being. You're multifaceted, and these areas are going to require you to pay attention. So give yourself permission to do that. Because I don't see your self-worth wrapped in your productivity. I don't receive it for me. I don't receive it for you.
Yeah, that statement right there, that is cognitive dissonance. That's 100% what that is. Yeah, two things existing in one space. On one hand, I can see I'm clearly still wanting Prove It to work, wanting to believe in it, but at the it's like two different, I don't know how to describe it. I don't want to say angels and demons because that sounds very aggressive, but two different entities like, oh no, Prove It's going to work. And then on this side, it's like, yeah, but this doesn't feel right. Why are we doing this? Why are we saying this? This doesn't make any sense. And kind of me trying to work through that, but I'm doing it as a team training.
I want you guys to have a joy-filled life. And the way that you do that is by learning to go with the flow, learning to listen to your body. If it's time to rest, it's time to rest. If it's time to rumble, it's time to rumble. But understand that you are a beautiful, beautiful, powerful human being. And learning to embrace you, learning to trust yourself is a really, really big lesson. I think that is probably one of the biggest things that I learned in the last year.
And that's so ironic because the chaos that I've referred to many times on this live stream prevents you from being in touch with your gut or whatever, however you make decisions. And so it's interesting to me that I'm saying this is one of my biggest lessons in the last year. And if this was 2020 or 2021, somewhere around there, that I feel like is me saying, I see the same red flags y'all do, and it doesn't seem right. But maybe because this is a crossroads in a sense that I have seen a lot of people take that were a part of multi-level marketing, where they think, this company is bad, but this company's going to be different, and they join another company and they're kind of a serial MLMer because they think it's going to be different, because they think that it's the company, they think that it's the leadership, they think that it's the comp plan, it's the entire business model, it's the emotional manipulation, the spiritual manipulation that happens across the board. It's not just the business model or the comp plan, it's everything. And, especially when you look at the statistics and stuff about, 99.7% of people, according to the FTC, lose money or don't make any at all. That's hurting people. And so this is all very interesting hearing me say this, because I'm trying to act like, oh yeah, no, this is good. We're in this thing. And then the words that are coming out of my mouth at that time, and my body language is like, no, take care of you, but then I don't know. I know I've said this a lot, but it's very interesting watching this replay here.
Is to quiet the noise, to understand that I'm going to have periods of rest. I'm going to have periods of rumble, and the different types of rest. Maybe that looks like, like yesterday, I meditated a lot yesterday because I just felt like my body wanted that. My soul wanted that, right?
Probably because you were trying to work out the red flags you were experiencing at the time and previously. So I don't know. Very interesting.
Right? It's funny that you mentioned that. It's actually one of my goals, Julie. Yeah, that's cool. That's super cool. Totally just threw me off. It's fine. It's fine.
Still happens today.
Just understand that you're going to define what productivity looks like, but don't just look at it from a business standpoint or a work or whatever. Look at it as productivity in all areas of your life. Yesterday, I meditated a lot, so there was a lot of spiritual growth. Today, I went to the gym, so health and wellness growth, right? Allow yourself to become the person that you're meant to be. And if you're always stuck in the grind and you're only thinking about business, your relationships are going to falter. You're going to, yeah, I'm just going to leave it at that. Okay. So I love you guys. I love you guys so much. That's why I'm having this conversation. I was inspired by a good friend of mine. She knows who she is. And if today you feel like you need to go and rest, then go and rest. Do the things that bring you joy. Find your joy in your everyday life. Your work will be there. I promise if you decide to take a nap and you put your phone down for an hour, the world is not going to end. You are going to pick up right where you were before you started. You're going to feel better. And when you do pick up that phone, when you do pick it up, you are not behind. You are doing exactly what you are supposed to do in the perfect timing.
Oh my God. But MLMs teach you are behind. You're not doing enough. Your guilt is going to be super loud. Some leaders will shame people. Oh my God, you're watching Netflix? Oh my God, you took a nap? They may not say it to people, but they do. They absolutely do.
Please don't feel guilty for taking care of you. Your self-worth is not wrapped around how productive you are on a daily basis. Okay? I love you guys. If you got value out of this, drop me a 10 below. Feel free to share it out. Tag a friend. If we're not already friends, you can follow.
What is she talking? Why am I saying that? This was in my private team group. Why would I say tag a friend unless I'm talking about a team member? If you're not following me, you should. What? Oh.
Follow me. You can send a friend request. I would love to connect with you. My name is Erin Bees. You can
y'all dropping 10s in the comment. I'm dying.
Call me #beast mode. I love you guys. I'll see you soon.
They also ask questions and then judge you if your answers aren't good enough for accounting for your time. 100% yes. Yeah. This speak is still pretty compassionate compared to other top leaders shouting and reprimanding their downline. Thank you. Thank you. If you're not following Erin, subscribe now. Oh man. Okay, well, I think that's the end of it.
Bye, friends.
Okay, that's it. Thank God. Good Lord. That was a lot. Yeah, #beast mode. Ooh. That's a good idea, Katie. That is a great idea. As you know, I am not opposed to reacting to my old content. And recently, I don't remember how I was reminded. I don't know if I was talking to JJ or what, but I was like, "Oh my god, I have my old group," you know? And, so I'm gonna periodically be featuring some of this because I think that it's important, just like I said at the beginning of this, to show that I participated in this. And by me participating in it, I hurt people. And again, I apologize for anybody that I hurt along the way over those 13 and a half years and 6 companies. Ugh. And, I'm gonna continue to talk about it. It's important, so I do like the idea of that series, Katie, and I think I could do a playlist. Yeah, that would be pretty cool. How many people were in your group? I think it was between 100 and 150 people. Again, not all of them, they weren't all active. Um, they weren't all ordering, they weren't all working or whatever, but I wanna say 100 to 150 people, somewhere in there. I think this was illuminating. Thank you. You're welcome. Appreciate it. Have you forgiven yourself? Um, I feel like my advocacy is a part of that. I think that, yes, I have forgiven myself, but I also wanna do something about it, and that's why I'm advocating in the way that I am. So thank you for asking that. I appreciate you. For the next one, I'm gonna get a clicker to see how many times you roll your eyes at yourself. That sounds like a great time. Oh, man. Crazy. Anyways, I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you for all of your commentary. Thank you for all of your questions. Did I miss any questions? Because I think I starred a question that I wanted to talk about. Yeah, Rachel asks, "How do you feel rewatching this, seeing yourself healthy versus what you considered healthy?" Grateful, number 1. Definitely grateful. The amount of information that I've learned about, the physiology of the body and food and my relationship with food and my relationship with, moving my body, lifting weights, those types of things has been incredible. I'm sad sometimes, like when I look at this and I see my former self, I'm like, God, you thought you were so healthy because you were skinny. And I think that that's a very dangerous narrative. I don't think that we can judge whether somebody is healthy or not by the size of their body. And I'm grateful for Susan, my trainer, and the information that I have learned from her and the questions that I ask her constantly and the things that she continues to teach me. And yeah, I'm very, very grateful that I'm not in that sad, unhealthy look at food and, thinking I had to earn food and like, oh God, no, thank you. No, thank you. Yeah. So thanks for asking that. I appreciate that. Um, I'll answer a couple more questions here real quick. How much actual training did you get from Prove It? Well, in my opinion, Prove It's training, I'm going to use that term loosely, is just manipulation. And if you've ever seen anything that Brian Underwood talks about, he just talks in circles. He just talks in circles, like I was doing on the video that I just featured. So I don't know how to answer that, but I don't think I really got any actual training. And in fact, while Jessie Lee and I had a relationship, she told me that Brian Underwood is not anybody's mentor. So if that says anything. Let's see. Did you actually follow the things you were teaching people to do? Like, did you actually rest like you were telling them that they should? I think in my mind, because I had been a part of grind culture for so long, I think that in my mind I was like, "Oh, I'm resting by doing these things." But now that I have an understanding of what rest actually is for me, I don't think I was resting. I think I was pausing for a second and then immediately hitting the gas, if that makes any sense. In my mind at that time, I thought I was resting, by meditating, but everything was a checklist. Do this, do this, do this, do this, do this, and For me, I know that rest needs to be, I'm not working from a checklist today. And I know that about myself now. So I think in my mind at that time, yes. But now that I look back, I'm like, yeah, no, you weren't resting. You were just trying to act like you were. How has your relationship with your family improved after leaving? Amazing. I'm definitely a lot more present, even though I might be scrolling TikTok at times or sending Mia TikToks or whatever. I enjoy just being and not being, constantly thinking of what I should do next. Being able to just relax my brain, read something that I'm actually interested in that's not personal development. Watching a show, watching basketball, making dinner together, sitting at the table. I would say that our relationships have definitely improved because I don't have like that chaotic environment influencing me like it was. Oh my God. These LifeWave people, LifeWave peeps, are y'all okay? Oh my God. Katie and I do have a video that we've been talking about for weeks, but life has handed it to us at different times. We both were sick at the same time, and we will get there. We have another video that we're planning on LifeWave. So, LifeWave peeps, you can look forward to that. Oh. Did you have to have more combos with your kids around food after leaving Prove It and relearning what you picked up in Prove It? Definitely, I think so with my daughter because she's older. But not to the extent that I expected to have, because she did a lot of her own research and, yeah, not to the extent that I expected to need to have. You should look up a company called Aluva. Many top leaders are leaving various MLMs to join. They have a $1,000 starter kit package. Oh God. Yeah. If you have any information, send it to me on Instagram. If you would, that would be amazing. So kind of a California rolling stop. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Oh, with Green Compass, it felt like there wasn't much to do or that I really could do. I'm not a hard sales guy. Yeah. I definitely do feel happier and healthier now and more at peace. Yeah, I really appreciate all these comments, you guys. Do you think that whatever you had that helped you be successful in MLM has helped you be successful at YouTube? I think I can see where you're coming from. I think being comfortable on video, I think definitely has contributed to that. I'm who I am, and I'm very comfortable with all of this. And I don't think that I would be had I not done a million lives or whatever while I was in an MLM. So I can definitely see where you're coming from on this comment. And I think, has it contributed? Yeah, possibly, at least with being comfortable on camera for sure. All right. Well, I appreciate you guys being here. And if you love the video, if you'd give me a thumbs up, that would be awesome. And if you're not subscribed and you liked today's content, then that would be cool if you would subscribe. And don't join an MLM. Don't do that. Okay. And I'll see you guys soon. I'll see you on the next video, which will probably be on Monday. And what am I going to be covering? I don't know. You'll have to wait and see, but probably going to be pretty good. Thank you guys for being here, especially those that watch all the way through. Shout out to the replay crew. Thank you, members, and thank you, moderators. I appreciate you guys, and I'll see y'all later.